What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Last But Not Least podcast. It's your boy, Mr. Snapisode.
It's your boy, KG, a.k.a. Troy Fontaine.
Always and always, you know what I'm saying? Coming to y'all for another episode. Got to bring you some more content, as always.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting topic today. And this is something that's been kind of boiling over in the news for about 2 weeks or so. And we've been talking about doing a video about it, but we wanted more information to come out so we can make informed, intelligent commentary on the situation. Jonathan Majors, Hollywood prince at this point,
right,
has been accused of domestic violence to some degree.
Smack somebody up.
Allegedly smacked somebody up who then went to the club. So before I get too far into it, Jonathan Majors is a well-renowned actor. Really popped off this year. He starred in Creed 3. He starred in Ant-Man, the low-key series as Kang the Conqueror. For those Marvel fans out there, Kang the Conqueror is a huge villain in the MCU. So you know that his role is getting ready to be monumental, like Thanos level.
Right.
Even probably bigger than Thanos. He would supplant Thanos as the current Marvel villain in the new phase. And for this to come down the bike is huge.
It is. It is. He's almost like I want to say Chad.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's in that.
You know?
Yeah, he's definitely in that mold.
That lane. So my question is, do you think the allegations are true?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Okay.
I think it's a bunch of fluff. I think it's a bunch of BS. And here's why. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying, if these things are true, please understand that, you know, he deserves everything that happens to him.
Right,
I want to make sure that I point that out first and foremost. Right. If these things are true, right? But the timing of it all is just so peculiar.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Like, he's been in Hollywood for a while, but now that you're on an ascension of sorts, right? Where you're just like, everything's working for you, everything's going for you, and here comes this bump in the road. It almost feels like it was scripted. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry, like it just and then they have video of his girl or the alleged girlfriend in the club chopping it up, drinking, you know, right after it happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like, a lot of times with domestic disputes, it's he said, she said.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But they always gonna believe what she said.
They always gonna believe what she said. You know what I'm saying? Because laws are invented to protect women. And I get that, because there are certain circumstances where women fall victim to domestic violence and police officers are charged with saving women from themselves. I get that. But the problem with that is that too often there's no investigation at all. It's just, well, this what happened and that's what happened and she hit me, but then you hit her back. But how does the guy get locked up if I got hit first? Because they don't deem a woman hitting a man like as a threat to his life.
Right. If she a boxer, it's a threat.
I mean,
she know how to throw a punch.
Right. You got to be dating Muhammad Ali daughter for them to take that serious. You feel me? So it's like, I don't agree with it, and I don't like the way that he's being portrayed. Like, as they say, you're innocent until proven guilty. Exactly. The burden of proof is always on the state. You know what I'm saying? And I honestly believe that these matters should be under wraps up until you start getting facts behind it. We've went through the legal system. The due process has been applied, and we know some resolve. We actually can paint the picture and make the appropriate assumptions, or we can draw whatever conclusion we want. But this man's been dropped from movies. He's been dropped from TV shows. He's been dropped from like everything. Creed 3 was already in the movie theater, so you can't really do much with that.
I wonder what this is gonna do for the Marvel movie. I know they probably in pre-production right now, maybe.
Yeah, well, so
it might be post.
It's gonna be post production for like the Loki show, because I think the Loki show is finished season 2.
Right.
So they should be probably airing that June, July, whenever the Guardians of the Galaxy buzz dies down. That comes out next month. So they'll probably be landing somewhere within June or July or something right there with the Loki series. He's gonna be a part of that because he was a part of season 1. He was a pivotal part of season 1. Right. We just didn't know it till like the last
little bit.
Right. So I don't think Marvel changes their current schedule, because I mean, if he's exonerated of these charges, you know what I'm saying? Like, then now what do? We go back with our tails tucked and apologize to him. I think if they were going to drop him officially, they would have dropped him already.
Yeah, they did already.
Yeah, and Disney has their own investigator, so let's not act like Disney isn't piped into this situation. Like, you know what I mean? Whatever the situation is, Disney's aware to some degree on what evidence is on him and what to move for, because essentially it would make no sense to wait later. If you were going to recast, they would do that immediately. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of money involved in that. So yeah. So I don't know, man. What are your thoughts on like just men in general, like that back and forth where women believe, and not necessarily believe, but it is true that like the laws are kind of written in their favor. Like, what do you think about that?
I believe that's true. I believe laws are written in women's favor. It doesn't protect the man at all. Like, we can't do anything without, like you said, the innocent, guilty till innocent, until proven innocent. Right. So we already go to jail before we even can tell our case. We're in the jail cell telling our case. Like, it's no help for us in the law at all, I believe. Yeah. And as for Jonathan, I really think he's in a bad spot. I really think they're attacking him because he's on that segue up. I don't know all the facts. I don't have everything, but I don't think that he would really hit a woman. I don't know.
Right. And I mean, the guy was just having a conversation about what he thought masculinity was, right? And his responses was like, masculinity is gentle. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, his whole demeanor didn't speak to somebody who was slightly aggressive.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, his whole persona don't seem like, I mean, some guys can cover that up, but it just don't seem like you. At some point, you would have heard something else before this happened.
You would think.
I mean, you would that's think. What I would think.
And then for the people who are coming forward, and then like, because that's usually the case. It's like, well, what about the people who said he's had this kind of history? Look, check this out. History is recorded. Right. Exactly. So there's no document. Don't give me what somebody said on some blog because he worked with you and maybe y'all didn't get along and that he has a history of.
And that's what I was going to say. The people that are coming forward are who? Men.
Exactly.
It ain't women, it's men. The one female that it did come for is his woman, right? So-called his girl,
who also recanted her statement.
Exactly. So I mean, come on,
like come on, man. Like y'all doing too much, and it's like y'all start to dig into somebody's character. Let me just say this, right? 10 years ago, where I worked at, people think I'm probably a certain way when I worked there 10 years ago. Right. Whether that was how much I was getting paid, the circumstances I was in. Exactly. I get why you would think you have an idea of who Jonathan was in that moment, because in that moment, I probably wasn't in a good space. Right. That doesn't mean that I would go on 10 years later.
But continue some kind of bad habit.
I would commit crime simply because your experience with me wasn't kosher. I don't think that's fair to anybody, not just Jonathan. You know what I mean? Like, he went on to be this, whatever. So it's like, I don't agree with that. And to be honest, like, I hope they get sued for defamation of character, because that's legally what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? So, but I did want to push forward on this topic, right? Because as it pertains to the defense of Jonathan Majors, if you will, Black women are infuriated by this situation.
Why?
Because he's dating a white woman. And from what I was told, I haven't heard it, he said that Black women can't do anything for him is kind of how it was positioned. Like, gotcha. I date white women because that's my preference. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to date Black women.
We're all allowed to our preference.
I agree. And that's what I wanted to speak on, where it's like, some women think he's guilty just because he don't date Black women. And I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? I mean, so that's his preference, right? You don't know. And this is the thing, ladies. I want to make sure I'm looking at the camera on this one. Ladies, check this out. You don't know what that man has been through. You don't know what his mother, grandmother, aunties, surrounding characteristics. You don't know who was in his vicinity that gave him a bad impression on Black women. You feel me? Not to say that it's true for most Black women, but his experience with Black women maybe wasn't ideal, and because of it, he found love in a different space. That does not mean he committed the crime simply because a white woman reported it. I don't understand why that's so difficult and why we're so willing to throw a Black man away, right? Because if he has kids with that white woman, those are black kids.
Right.
Whether you want to, however you want to look at it, those are still black kids, and they're still part of our culture. So I don't know if we should be just so quick to throw people away because there is an apparent mistake that hasn't been verified yet. You know what I'm saying? So what are your thoughts on like how women view black men, not just Jonathan Majors, but black men who date white women?
I think black women that view black men that date white women differently are upset because they didn't get accepted by black men. Because if you was in your own relationship, handling your own business, you wouldn't even be worried about what somebody else's preference is or what they like, because you have your own situation going on. But since you haven't been accepted, or you haven't been married or approached by a black man that you feel you should be with, now the world is against you, and now you're against the world. So
yeah, you said a lot there. You know, there are a lot of females who, because you believe you haven't, and it's almost like a point where it's just like you're speaking on this because you're bitter. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
You know what I mean? Like, and I know people, that's a trigger word, like, you know what I'm saying? But it's
I'm not bitter.
Like, let's keep it a buck. Like, you feel the way that you feel because the men that have been in your life have not panned out to what you want them to be. So when you see good, quote unquote, men go date outside of their race, it makes you feel some type of way. Like, there's one less guy that you had an option of dating, and let's be honest, most of y'all
gonna give him a chance anyway.
Exactly. Which leads me to the Michael B. Jordan situation, right? And this is what I think applies to like Jonathan Majors, and this is what I want everybody to kind of connect the dots on, right? So if you remember, I believe it was for Creed 3, they were doing some marketing, right? And Jonathan Majors was on the red carpet. And a reporter walked up to him and asked him a question. And he was just like, oh, yeah. I remember you. We went to high school together. You was the one that called me corny.
Not Jonathan Majors, but
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
She was like, yeah, you're the one that called me corny. So he remembered the chick. Right. And she was just like, yeah, you know, I don't remember saying that. All of a sudden now, I remember saying that. Now that
you probably talked about it before.
Exactly.
Before you blew up.
Yeah, you know, I knew Michael B. Jordan. He was corny in high school. But now that I'm successful, it changes things, right? So let's just say if you took the situation with Michael B. Jordan and you applied that to Jonathan Majors. Let's say he went to like Juilliard or something like that. So he went to a creative arts school.
Right.
Let's just say all the black women that he was trying to court in those days called him corny.
That could be damaging to a person's whole thing, personality, esteem, everything.
Exactly. So now you fast forward till now where it's like, okay, he dates white women. Well, maybe the white women were the ones who accepted him when he was low trying to climb his way up. The black women thought he was corny, so now his comfort level is white women. Again, nothing about that makes you guilty.
Right.
Now, granted, a video dropped tonight and they show him doing Ray Rice on this bitch, and I take back everything I just said.
Hey, yeah. I mean, if he did it, and he deserves whatever he get if he did it. But if he didn't get it, if he didn't do it, give him a chance to prove before we all go with the allegation that he did.
I think you have to, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, at the end of the day, like if he puts himself in a situation where you watch the video and you like, damn, like, oh my God, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why would he do that? Then okay, cool. If they remove everything, and okay, cool. But
even if he didn't do it and they remove everything, does that still change people's mind about what they thought was true? It don't even bring him back. So
yeah,
it's like it's gonna be majority might say, okay, yeah, he didn't do it. We sorry, blah blah blah. Then you still gonna have another half that says, well, he could have still did it.
Yeah,
but we got to prove that he didn't do it. So why you still think that? He did it?
And what KG is referring to is the court of public opinion. You know what I'm saying? There are a lot of people who, you know, get arrested for crimes that they're not convicted of, and regardless, they believe that, oh well, you just paid it off, or you intimidated the witness, and that's how you got away with it for so many years. But they still believe that you're guilty. I think that Jonathan Majors is in a position where his talent could potentially overshadow that component of people because he's positioned at Marvel right now, currently.
Right.
if you have all these allegations about you, right, and they come out and say that's all false, Jonathan Majors is a good guy, you're gonna have the naysayers say we don't believe that. They go and drop like Avengers King Dynasty, and that shit sell like $1.9 billion.
Right.
Ain't nobody gonna be thinking about this situation no more. They're gonna be like,
right.
you know what I mean? They gonna Ray Lewis this. You know Ray Lewis killed somebody?
That situation we were just talking about made me go back or think about Mike Vick. You know, he had the dogfight thing.
Yeah.
He had the dogfight thing. Then he, you know, went to jail. Did he serve his time? And he got back out, and people still looked at him as a bad guy. Like,
yeah, that's what they do, because at the end of the day, like, people are just they're so concerned with the decisions you do and don't make, especially when you're in a public forum. And a lot of people make similar decisions, and they still pass. You know, they try to pass judgment, but as they say in the good book, I don't quote the Bible very often, but he who is without sin cast the first stone. Tell you how much I know about it, but I can't even get the shit out. He who was without sin cast the first stone. And a lot of y'all motherfuckers are sinners. You know what I'm saying? So to be passing judgment on somebody else who's made a decision that was unfavorable, granted, it's not the worst thing that's ever happened. Somebody getting into an argument with their girlfriend, you know what I'm saying? Like, whether she was white or black, you know what I mean?
Right. I mean, think about Chris Brown and Rihanna.
Yeah, talk about it.
Chris Brown hit Rihanna.
Yep.
Rihanna hit Chris Brown, but where is Rihanna right now? She makes $1 billion.
And
has babies with another rapper.
Balling.
And no one has said anything about that.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't, it's not a fair process. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's something that I think that we need to dive into, is like reform to some degree some of these laws. Like, there has to be circumstances that apply to some of these laws that are, how should I say, evidenceless crimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it has to be more there than just that's what I believe him to be, or that's what I say happened. Like, there has to be a chain reaction of events, whether it's a polygraph test or whatever, to just say, hey, no, that's not what happened, and we have no proof of that happening. You know what I'm saying? Because half of this shit that I be listening to, I'll be like Dr. Umar.
You don't find that suspicious?
You don't find that suspicious?
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
I think it's very suspicious. You know what I'm saying? And it's very peculiar. And again, it's always about timing for me. You know what I'm saying? So you hear about it, like NFL players, they normally go through things like this. And, you know, it's all about hush, hush, and keep this on the down low. When the player is good, the player is bad, they throw him to the wolves. They be like, yo, get it out the mud, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, sucks to be you, but you know, I don't know. I think we all just need to be fair. And again, this isn't something exclusive to just me, and it just generally happens to men. I would feel this way if it was a female being accused of domestic violence and her career had been shattered. I mean, look at Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Like,
I was gonna say, Amber almost got me. I was almost on her side. Like, that lady didn't do none of this stuff to him. No, but she got proof. Got proof, got receipts. And it's just like, you become an investigator. Like, damn, like, I got to sit up and record conversations I got with you. Like, this woman took a shit on Johnny Depp's bed. That is crazy.
Took a shit.
Oh, man. I don't know why she didn't think that would come out.
And then she became a meme. I mean, it's a whole thing. So it's funny, like how quick we forget. We just watched the Amber Heard thing play out. That was years in the making. Thank God the trial was public, that you can actually see it, and make your own judgments on it. But it's like, you had that, and we were so quick to throw Johnny Depp to the wolves. No more Pirates of the Caribbean. He shouldn't do this. He shouldn't be cast in that. I ain't seen a movie from Johnny Depp since.
I mean, I think when everything came out, Johnny didn't want to mess with nobody that didn't want to mess with him.
But I get that though, because it's like, what have I done? I haven't done anything, and you're giving me the cold shoulder. And a lot of PR managers are going to tell you to, like right now, Jonathan Majors is standing on an island by himself. I don't see Michael B. Jordan speaking up for him.
Yeah.
Not to say that I know there are people in Michael B. Jordan's camp that's saying, hey, reach out to Jonathan privately.
Right. Let him know, you know.
Hey, you still my nigga, but I gotta let this shit die down before, because it's gonna tarnish my image, and now they gonna try to cancel me too. And this is something else I want to talk about before we get out of here, is like the overcorrection of the Me Too movement, right? I believe all this is birthed from the Me Too movement, whereas ladies went out and you said, okay, there are men taking advantage of us because of the positions of power that they're in. They're putting us in compromising positions, and we have succumbed to those positions because we wanted a certain fame, a certain stardom, et cetera, et cetera. I got that. But once you got all those men that were harming you or taking advantage of you, now y'all still got the gun out searching for people. You feel me? Like you still trying to figure out who you gonna hit next.
Right.
And now you're reaching is what you're doing. You're creating situations that I don't know if it's valid. You know what I'm saying? Like Mystical going to jail again. Okay, he probably deserved to go to jail again.
Yeah. If he done went as many times he did for the same allegation,
same crime,
he probably did.
He probably deserved it. You know what I'm saying? Like R. Kelly going to jail. Okay, he probably deserved it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like now it's just like you just gotta find stuff on everybody. It's like, bro, if you dig hard enough, you'll find dirt on everybody.
Exactly.
Man, female, he, she, they, whatever you want to call it, you can find dirt on everybody because nobody's perfect.
Exactly.
So I implore everybody to keep that in mind when you hear these stories that go out into the forum with no evidence. That just be mindful. Everybody does something that you're not necessarily proud of. Jaywalking, kicking a cat. Well, I would never kick a cat. I like cats. I would never own a cat, but a dog. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody does stuff that they don't necessarily want people to judge them on. You know what I'm saying? Laughing at a joke. You know what I'm saying? Like it's always something. So I don't think it's fair.
Joke.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Bernie Mac, one of my favorite comedians, had a lot of insensitive stuff that he was saying. It was funny to the people who weren't going through it, weren't dealing with it.
Right.
But if you have a child or you had a situation where you've had to deal with people with special needs, stuff like that, you probably didn't think that shit was funny. And I get it, you know what I'm saying? So I don't want somebody to think that I'm an animal because at the time I thought that was a funny joke, you know what I'm saying? But when I was ignorant to the situation. Yeah, I just implore everybody to just dial it back a little bit, man. Wait for the facts to come out and stop picking a side. Like it seems like everybody wants to be the first to pick a side.
And then you pick the wrong side.
Very often you pick a wrong side. And then they say, but I mean, I still think he did something. Like even when you wrong.
What did he do? Everything's been put on the table. It shows his receipt that he did nothing.
Oh, he paid them off.
What he did was be a great actor. That's what he did.
That's what he did. That's what he did. And if Jonathan Majors, if you watching this podcast, buddy, just keep being a great actor, bro. Like when you get your opportunities, keep being a great actor. Keep your head down, man. It's still gonna be people that support you in the culture. Again, all this don't mean shit if you actually did it. But if you did it, boy, that's your ass, Mr. Postman. But I mean, if you didn't do it, man, and just keep doing what you're doing, man. The truth will eventually will come out. And there's still people that's even now supporting you. Women too. It's some females that's like, I ain't rocking with him. And then there's some females that's like, yeah, the way that they dogpiling on him is kind of crazy. So yeah, man, shout out to you for that. You done great work. I hope that we can get the facts here shortly so that way we can get back on track, because I'm looking forward to them new Avengers movies.
Yeah, me too.
Jesus Christ.
So this may be a part 2. So once everything come out, we'll hit you back with the other stuff.
We definitely gonna have to hit you back with that. You know what I'm saying? And I'll tell you whether I was right, wrong, or what the situation is. Don't you make me wrong on this, man. Your name is Jonathan. We have a common
got a connection.
We got a connection here, bro. Like I need you to be in the right on this.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, but I mean, like I said, it is what it is, man. As always, it's your boy, Mr. Snap Episode.
It's KG.
You know what? And we out of here.
Out.
Yeah.